Hi, day for new moon blessings to you. New moon in Scorpio. It's Monday, the 28th of October 2019, and we're on day 4 of the Red Serpent wave spell, which is all about relationship. And here we are. We're on the 8th Mayan sign, which is Yellow Star, whose planet is Venus. And we've got Venus in Scorpio at the moment, which is all about deep, intense feelings of wanting intimacy and connection. And in order to have a relationship that is intimate, we have to be in truth. So we have to be able to be authentic, to be wherever we are, as we are, and other people to be in acceptance of that. So in order for other people to be in acceptance of that, we have to be in acceptance of that in other people. So it's this whole attachment axis that we're in, which is Scorpio and Taurus. So on my other videos that I've posted this week, I'm intending to post a video every day. I talked about the moon in Scorpio and the degree, which is the fourth degree. And today I'm going to talk about what's opposite of that, which is Taurus at 4 degrees. And of course, we've got Uranus in Taurus for a good long transit now, bringing to light about where we are in truth and authenticity, or whether we're doing the bullshit. And why do we do the bullshit? That's the big question, isn't it? So if we're in truth all the time, is it easy to have relationships with people? Is it easy to live on planet Earth right now? No, it is not for most people. Because most of what we live is based on a lie. Most of it is about repressing our shadow and being something that we're not in order to fit into a system, a culture which is full of lies, basically, and deeply imbalanced. Believing somehow that money and material can keep us safe from our spiritual journey, from our human evolution, which is absolute utter nonsense. So it's about getting this in balance as well. Of course, we do need to have key structures. And number 4 is all about the structure. So on day 4, so again, look at the alignment, look how it all matches up. It's really magical. So aquaorfire.net is the website. Taurus 4, a man talking in his sleep. A psychic faculty is dreamt into and sustained, leaving everything wide open for passive absorption, going so deep in their unaltered state that you become karmically thrown into the dilemma of translation between the worlds. Being used by astral forces and learning to adapt, indwelling a place reserved for those who are not ready to activate, but oh, the dreams, the vapors, remembrance, recapitulation, return, longing for connection between the worlds. You may be able to take the underworld route through if disciplined attunement is fostered. Creative powers are dammed up and filtered through into naive wistfulness. You wait, hope, and are drawn back and back until the inner worlds have been heard and respected and the balance can be restored. There it is in a nutshell, and wow, that is so deep and so powerful and all about the process. In terms of the Mayan calendar, how that works is we're in the time of the dark sun right now. And so just to, again, intuitively, I've looked at things today and I've got many books and I've done a lot of reading, of course, on all of this stuff. And so I'm just going to share with you this particular book, which talks about the Toltec wisdom and the fact that we're in the sixth sun, the dark sun time right now. So again, reading about this stuff really helps understand the bigger picture as to where we are, as to the ancient prophecies, the ancient religions. And he has so much fascinating stuff in here. He also does videos as well. The place of the moon's navel. Okay, I firmly believe that a tradition's development is strongly rooted in its ecosystem. Mexico isn't very far from the equator, so there isn't a big difference between the length of the day and the night throughout the year. In ancient Mexico, the day was divided into 20 fractions, each consisted of approximately 72 minutes, thus resulting in 11 fractions of the day and 9 fractions of the night, which were stable during most of the year. Darkness prevailed during almost half of the day, giving way to the world of dreams and the Nahual. And again, forgive me if I'm pronouncing this incorrectly, because I don't know. That is why the Nahual became as important as the tonal and gave rise to one of the most sophisticated dream cultures of the ancient world. It is unbelievable that almost no one, including Mexicans themselves, actually knows what Mexico means. It comes from the Nahuatl word Metzli, can't pronounce that, Xictli, and co, meaning moon, navel and place respectively. When combined, they mean the place of the moon's navel. That is the land of dreamers and those who are awake while dreaming. So we're in the Maya. That's another multicultural expression for living this life on planet Earth. The illusion, the delusion, it's not real on one level. And it's a creation, it's a holograph, it's a giant mystery school that we are in. Just to quote another book, we have Stephen Forrest, The Inner Sky. This is a great book for starting to connect to astrology in very simple ways, and he's an amazing teacher. Again, he does lots of videos, so I highly recommend checking him out if you haven't already. So again, with him, we're on the moon. Function, the development of the ability to feel or to respond emotionally, the development of subjectivity, impressionability, and sensitivity, the development of what we might call a soul. Dysfunction, emotional self-indulgence, timidity, laziness, wishy-washiness, overactive imagination, indecision, and moodiness. Key questions: what kind of experiences are most essential to my happiness? When moodiness and irrationality overtake me, how are they expressed? What unconscious emotional needs motivate my behaviour? And so the Great Mystery School is, you know, we come in to this world with a mission impossible, should we choose to accept it, and go as deep as we want to go because we've got free will. So in order to go really deep, we have to release this old dream, and that's what the 260-day framework allows us to do. This here is key to the format for getting clear and free and becoming emotionally centered, grounded, emotionally intelligent, so that we know that we are not our emotions per se, but that our emotions are our amazing guidance system. A lot of the time that guidance system has gone out on a haywire, which is why we have indecision, which is why we have anxiety, because we're living against our true nature and our true self. So the cards that I pulled today, the Mayan Oracle, again, amazing deck, which you might want to check out. Greater Cycles. So just noticing today, yellow star, being the star that we really are, self-existing, free of codependency, And so, of course, the more that we know about our cosmic code, our astrology, our natal chart, our Mayan sign, and what year we're in of our particular personal 13-year cycle, is all key for our manual for ourselves, our Book of Shadows. The card with Thoth is the Priestess, and again, in connection with the moon. Again, if you Google this card, and there's some amazing people out there doing deep work with this, one of which is Eli. If you look for Eli, his website is fantastic and so deep, and he goes into all the information. These are such powerful cards, and they have lots of astrology on there, deep Kabbalah framework. So we all are where we are, and we all are perfectly placed in the game that we've come to play in this great game of life. Just to give a really down-to-earth, mundane example of how modelling works. One of my key things is modelling. So doing my NLP training in 2007 really opened me up on a much deeper level to the world of the model. So again, this is connected to Carlos Castaneda, as well as many other people who are amazing people in their field, like Fitz Pearl and Virginia Satir, who were pioneers and achieved amazing things that other people just didn't get. So they had something about them that was excellent in their field. This is what NLP is really all about, is discovering the difference that makes a difference, and understanding how we have made a model of the world. We've made a map of the world. So the map of our star chart can be really helpful in setting us free from the map that we've created from our human experience this time around, because that is the Maya, that is the delusion and the illusion, a lot of it, because it was taught to us. We were taught who we are by people who often are not of the light. They are not conscious, they are not aware. The mundane example that I wanted to give was using an ironing board. Now, some people are really spatially aware. Some people don't need instructions. They can put IKEA things together, without a manual. They just know how to do it. They can put a tent up in the middle of Dartmoor, in the dark. They just know these things. I am not one of these people, I have to say. And I don't know whether you've been experiencing this, but I know many people have, that I'm around at the moment, as to things are dropping away now. Because we've got Uranus in Taurus, this is about embodiment. This is not about where our mind is. This is about where our human being self actually is. This is the shift that's happening. So you may find that you're forgetting things, people's names, things that are superfluous, things that are not necessary to your survival right now, are dropping away from you, so that you can really get on track, because it's time to get on track. So in terms of using certain mundane things, they're not always simple if you're not using them every day. And often newer things now are coming in from newer mindsets that our experiential mindset just doesn't align with as a different generation. So if you've got younger people designing software, gadgets, mobile phones, for example, and an older mindset, again, it's like a computer program analogy. It just doesn't compute. So unless you're using it over and over and it goes into your muscle memory where it's automatic, again, this links into intuition. If you find you just do something without thinking about it, it becomes deeply unconscious. It becomes wired into your neural pathways. You don't have to think about it anymore. You just do it automatically. So it can be like using an ironing board. Now, I don't really iron a lot. I haven't done for years since I had children, because there just wasn't enough time in the day. And what was the point? Because usually they ended up crammed into, you know, a drawer, or this is really key for this time. Though we do only have so much time. This is the truth. And the ego doesn't like that. You know, the ego doesn't like that we are mortal this time around. Every time we come into a human being body, we are mortal. So we have a time frame. We don't know how long that time frame is. But we have to work around a certain clock. And in England, the clocks have just gone back now. So again, it's adjusting to that. All these frameworks, they have a season, they have a timing. And if you live in somewhere like England, you have the seasons that really gets you into a different way of being in each season. So to go back to the ironing board, because I haven't used it for a long time and I needed to iron something today, I just couldn't figure it out straight away. And I had to go through the process again of trying to understand the mechanism. Again, how many people understand the mechanism now? How many young people understand how to do the basic maths without using a calculator? You know, for example, I've been working on a till recently, and so you can only do so many things at one time. And, you know, people often think when you're putting something through the till that you can do all these things at once. You can talk to them, you can do the till, you can add things up. Well, you can't, you know, and this is where technology has overtaken the human mindset in a lot of ways. But it's remembering that the old human mindset is still there, and so can have a struggle adapting to this. It can have a very ancient mindset as well. And so again, just things like speaking on the telephone and not being able to see somebody, all of this is very deep on one level. And, you know, becoming very aware of that, becoming aware of how something works can be really empowering, because when it doesn't work, then you understand the mechanism. If you understand the mechanism of the ironing board, then you understand why, if you do certain things, it won't work. Most of the things that are in the consumer world now are designed just to last for a very small amount of time before they break. And again, how mad is all of this, that we are allowing this on the planet? We are allowing people who are not conscious, who are not awake dreamers, to be running the way that the world works, because it's coming from a dark shadow space of believing that everything has to be new, has to be consumed. And even though we know that it's not sustainable and it's ruining the planet. And this is why it's so essential for each person to start to know themselves, to start to really work on this deep level, to become awake to their shadow and know that we are going through a very powerful process of this now, of the emotional evolution. So today, with Self-Existing Star, again, where Venus is in your chart is key for you. If you've got anything at 4 degrees in your chart, again, that's a structure point. So that's something to look at. Your 4th house is in the traditional zodiac is Cancer, which is the house of the moon. My relatives, who go way back, hundreds of years back, up to Bolton Abbey, they're actually buried up there in Bolton Abbey. The last prior of Bolton Abbey was called Richard Moon, and he is my relative. So once you start going on this amazing journey, this cookie trail, you can see how amazing your ancestry is, And some of that might bring up some deeply dark stuff, such as slavery connections, and ways of being that are still coming through you as part of this DNA to be recognized, to be brought to the surface and to be healed. We've had a lot of lip service on the planet around things changing geographically in key parts of the world where there's been huge genocide and trauma. But the actual source points, the belief systems, the shadow behaviours have not gone away within these parameters, within these roots, within these shadow behaviours. They have just gone underground, and now they're starting to come back up to the surface. Because the minute we have a scarcity, seemingly, of resources, of competition, of there not being enough, of there being too many people in a certain place at one time, an imbalance, in other words, then all these surface things come up, which is why it's so essential to clear them in each person, and each person will do that as and when it's the time for them. Coming into acceptance that the people are where they are is really key, and not allowing abusive behaviour either, which again can be very challenging if you need your job, if you need your house, if you don't want to put your head above the parapet. So again, it's finding ways, Mars in Libra, to be the diplomat now, and to work on yourself until you've cleared as much emotion as you can before you interact with people. Otherwise, you will bring all the drama that was created when the trigger was created, when the first experience was created. All of that comes back to the table, because this is how it works. So today is a magical day for setting intentions around what you want to create, that you want to have manifest by the Taurus time of year next year. Taurus time, beautiful time, springtime, just going into summer. So setting those seed intentions today. It's still dark, the moon, at the time of the new moon. What would you like to manifest? Taurus energy is the key for manifestation. And so again, it's what are you attached to that is no longer serving you? And having a good clear out is really good as well. Letting go of anything that's holding on to old energy, of old stories. So for example, clothes that you don't wear anymore, that you're holding on to, thinking that perhaps you won't be able to have those experiences again with those clothes, or you won't be able to access those clothes, or it's just letting go what's seeking to be rebirthed now. Again, it's a portal day, human evolution. What experiences are you having today that you can be really consciously aware of, so that you can be as clear as you can about what you personally are creating in your life, because each day has a structure, has a format, and that will replicate in the next part of that process of 13 days, and so on and so on. So this time next year, where you're going to be, where you're going to be on the planet, who you're going to be in relationship with, because of how you're in relationship with yourself, because you've healed your intimacy wounds. When we heal the inside, the outside changes. When we create a model that is about love and respect and sustainability, then what I offer you is we start by clearing and healing all the times where we've had intimacy wounding, where we haven't been loved, where we haven't been respected. Because in this holograph, in this mirror that we are in now, we're seeing that over and over reflected outside of ourselves. We're seeing a replay all the time. We're in a PlayStation game, if you like. And so certain things in the game are hidden. Each time we go around, each level, we come to our map on that game starts to be shown to us. You know, things come to light. We see different things that weren't there before, and we understand the next step as and when it's coming up. So it's trusting that process, and the focus is on the shadow. That's what the sixth sun is all about. It's a dark sun time. Heal the shadow, heal the old story, and embody the new dream. Hope you have an amazing new moon today. Lots of love. Bye for now.